Have you ever felt like your anxiety isn't just your struggle, but something that sneaks its way into your relationship too? Maybe it shows up in constant what if questions, late night restlessness, or snapping at each other when the stress feels overwhelming. Here's the truth: anxiety doesn't just live in one person's body, it shows up in the relationship dynamic too. And that's what we're talking about today: how anxiety shapes our relationships, and most importantly, what we can do about it. So go grab yourself a warm drink and let's dive in. Welcome to Relationship Reset, Reignite, Reconnect, Rebuild, the podcast for high achieving couples who want to transform their relationship from surviving to thriving. I'm Katie Russler, a relationship coach and counselor with over 15 years of experience helping busy, overwhelmed couples rebuild connection, trust, and intimacy. If you've been together for years and feel stuck on autopilot, disconnected and frustrated by constant miscommunication, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll explore practical tools, relatable stories, and strategies to help you reignite the spark, rebuild your bond, and create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Because no matter how long you've been together, it's never too late to hit reset. Let's dive in. I may seem cool and collected on the surface, but I have a pretty good level of anxiety running through my veins at every moment. I've always been this way. Since I was 8 years old, I can remember the first time I really felt anxious and started reacting because of that anxiety. Now, when my husband and I first started dating, of course, you don't show those sides of yourself just yet, but eventually they show up. And it was a big discussion for us to talk about my anxiety, how I manage it, because of course I had been going to therapy since high school, not just to work on anxiety, but also my parents' divorce. And I had found talking to someone and learning tools from them really supportive in being able to manage my anxiety. So I had some really great tools to use. But you know what? When you have someone start to be a part of your world and you start living with them, anxiety shows up in different ways, right? You're like, oh, that's there. That's still there. That's another issue. Okay. And the tools I was using are no longer easy to use when you've got somebody bringing in their own stuff and you're like, I've got a lot of anxiety about this. And they're like, well, oh, okay. This is me. And you're like, ah. So I really struggled in the first few years of our relationship. And at times I still have some heavy anxiety that will come up and we have to talk through it, or it will blow up and be reactive, right? Like it doesn't show up in really healthy ways. But that was an essential conversation for us to have. And again, it's something we continue to address at times when we need to. My husband has his own anxieties, and we've started being able to figure out those as well and what he needs in those moments. It's not for me or him to resolve each other's anxiety. It's for us to stop and be able to go, hey, I got to go take care of myself, calm myself down, get my nervous system in a better place. And then I can be present with you. Because basically right now I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm only focused on the racing thoughts in my mind and how I'm feeling physically, and like fight or flight's not beautiful. So let me go calm down so we can have a good conversation. See, I know from my own life and from years of working with high achieving couples that anxiety is almost always present in at least one partner, right? There's always one of us that has it really heavy. The other one usually does too, but they hide it really well because the other one is bigger, right? It just shows up more. And when you add busy schedules, family responsibilities, and the pressure to always perform, it can become the uninvited third wheel in your marriage. So let's unpack what's actually going on with anxiety, why it impacts your relationship, and what both of you can do to manage it together. So let's talk about what's happening in the brain when we feel anxious. When anxiety spikes, the amygdala, it's basically like this almond-shaped part of the middle of our brain. It's really small, but it sends out like smoke alarm. Ah, smoke alarm, watch out. And it will go off and we go, danger, react now. The body just goes into fight or flight, freeze or fawn. But here's the tricky part. The amygdala doesn't know the difference between an actual life-threatening event and an email from your boss that makes your stomach drop. To your brain, it's all the same level of urgency. That's kind of scary, isn't it? This is why you might snap at your partner when you're really just overwhelmed, feel restless at night and keep your partner awake, or go into problem-solving mode over something that isn't actually urgent. The nervous system then moves into that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And in a relationship, that might look like picking a fight for fighting, shutting down for freezing, avoiding conversations by even like literally leaving or getting on your phone. That's flight. Or people pleasing to keep the peace. That's fawn. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to interrupting them. Because, see, anxiety doesn't stay contained, it leaks into the relationship. If one of you is anxious, it impacts both of you. Anxiety creates an atmosphere. It might look like one partner overfunctioning, planning, controlling, trying to prevent every possible disaster, while the other partner feels either shut out or micromanaged. Or maybe the anxious partner withdraws and the other feels abandoned. Either way, it becomes a cycle that feeds itself unless you both learn how to respond differently. Here are some specific triggers that can show up in couples, especially high-achieving couples. Work stress spilling over at home. There are deadlines, difficult colleagues, or the constant "I should be doing more." And all of a sudden, we just bring that home. There's parenting worries. Are the kids okay? Am I doing enough? What if I mess them up? What if my partner messes them up? Right? Like doomsday. Then we've got social pressure, navigating in-laws, friendships, or keeping up with others, right? How are you doing? Gosh, I feel like it's been so long since we've talked. Well, yeah, because you've been so busy, right? Like, oh, I'm so sorry. And lastly, one of the triggers can be health anxieties. I see this very commonly in the couples I work with too. Every ache or pain becoming a spiral of a worst case scenario, largely because they don't feel like they have the time to take care of themselves. And their partner's really just tired of hearing it. It's not that these worries are irrational, it's that they get amplified to a volume that's hard to live with for both you and your partner. Now, let's say you're the partner of someone with anxiety. It's natural to feel frustrated. You might think, why can't they just calm down? Like, why do they make this such a big deal? Or you might feel like you're always on the receiving end of criticism or restlessness. It's easy to take it personally, but here's the reframe. Anxiety is not a character flaw, it's a nervous system response. And supporting your partner doesn't mean fixing them. It means learning to stand together against the anxiety instead of letting it divide you. So here's some practical tips and some action steps for you and your partner. So for the partner who experiences anxiety, 1, name it out loud. Say it, I'm feeling really anxious right now. Instead of it leaking out as irritation or withdrawing, naming it really helps reduce its power. Number 2, use grounding techniques. Try the 3-breath reset. Just inhale, exhale, and repeat that 3 times while just noticing your body. Is your heart racing? And is it starting to calm down as you take those breaths? Do you start to feel a little more clear in your mind? Feel a little less flushed? Another thing I love using is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Name 5 things you see, 4 things you physically feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. This will slow down your thoughts and get you way more focused on the present moment, which helps a lot. And number 3, separate fact from story. Write down the actual situation versus the anxious what if narrative. So example, a fact, my boss emailed me late. Story, I'm going to lose my job. That's not necessarily true, right? But the fact is, my boss emailed me late. My brain is anxious that, oh my gosh, that must be for something bad or something's wrong. Doesn't mean it's true. So write down the actual situation versus your what if narrative. Now, if you're the supporting partner who doesn't have as high a level of anxiety, because again, most of us have some form of anxiety, but if you don't have the highest level in the partnership, 1, listen without fixing. When your partner names their anxiety, resist the urge to problem solve right away. Don't fix it for them. Often they need more of your presence than the solutions. I have many clients say, thank you for letting me borrow your nervous system. Because in session, of course, I'm calm and I'm very present, and it helps in feeling like, okay, everything's good. It allows my clients to have those anxious sort of spin out moments and then come back to grounding. We can be that for our partners. Just continue to take deep breaths. Remember, there's nothing for you to fix, and just be present. Number 2, ask, what do you need right now? Sometimes it's space. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's help breaking down a task, right? This week I've been like, oh my God, husband, I am so anxious about all the things that need to get done in this coming week. And he was like, okay, what's the one little thing we can do? He didn't ask, what do you need right now? Because he knows exactly what I need, because I usually say it ahead of time. It's like, I just need this to be like compartmentalized into pieces. So we have this taken care of and this taken care of, and we're all on the same page. And that's what we did. Let's take care of this one little thing. What can be done for this? Okay, how can we prepare for this? That allowed me to feel much more calm, and he was able to feel like he was helping. Number 3, hold the bigger picture. Remind them of what's true. We've gotten through this before. Or you're safe. We're okay. It just grounds your partner in that moment too. to remind them they've gone through difficult times, they've had anxiety before, and they can overcome this. Now, for both of you together, I'd say create an anxiety plan. Decide ahead of time how you'll handle when sort of these flare-ups occur. So let's say if one of you starts spiraling, you'll take a 10-minute pause, do a grounding exercise, and then come back together. And that allows your partner to really get in the headspace of, okay, my partner has anxiety. I'm going to be present and not try to fix. Another option is to use humor gently, right? We never want to make the person who has anxiety feel worse. They already are spiraling in that too, like, oh my God, here I am again, doing it again, all this anxiety. So use humor gently. That anxiety can feel so heavy that being able to laugh will break the tension and remind you guys that you're on the same team. So here's your homework assignment this week. I want you and your partner to have one 15-minute conversation about anxiety, not in the heat of the moment though, okay? Like when you're both calm. And here's the structure. You're going to say, each of you is going to share how anxiety shows up in your body and behavior. You're speaking for yourself, not what you notice in your partner. Both of you share. Then each of you will share one thing that helps you feel supported in those moments. When it shows up this way, this helps, right? This is the way that you can support me. And then your partner shares. And then the last thing is create one simple step you can take together next time the anxiety shows up. One of those things could be, we will take a 10-minute pause. The person who's experiencing anxiety will go and calm their nervous system through an anchoring exercise or breathing techniques or a guided meditation or watching a funny video that can even help, while the other one prepares to be able to be a support without fixing. Make it practical, make it small, and check back in a week later to see how it went. And you know what? Sometimes we need to take notes so we remember what our partner said, but also what we said. So there's no shame in doing that too. Anxiety doesn't have to be the enemy of your relationship. In fact, when you learn to talk about it and work through it together, it can actually bring you closer. You start to see that you're not fighting each other. You're teaming up against the anxiety. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear what came up in your conversation this week with your partner. Share it with me on Instagram or send me a message to my email at katie@katierustler.com. If you're ready to go deeper, book a relationship game plan call. I'll help you and your partner map out exactly how to shift these cycles where anxiety has started to create negative habits you're not happy about. Because yes, anxiety shapes our relationships, but so do the choices we make to handle it together. I don't know about you, but I'd rather at the end of the day be side by side with my partner through it than feeling alone dealing with anxiety by myself. Okay, dear listener, I will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Relationship Reset. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need it too. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. It helps more couples discover these tools to rebuild their connection too. And be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. It's gonna be a good one. Your relationship is worth the work, and the rewards, totally worth the effort. See you next week.